Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's indeed an honor to be in your presence once again, and thank you for making the effort and coming in for Zahra Light to organize such a beautiful event so late in the day or night. We'll just be sharing a few thoughts, and the topic that she wanted me to discuss today was our relationship with God and how to forge that relationship with God. Let us go through it bit by bit. In this world of ours, of necessity, we need some meaning. There has to be some understanding of what we are all about, where we are headed. Otherwise, the world doesn't make sense. There is a nagging question in there. Well, what am I? Who am I? Why am I? And what is it all about? It's as if everything in this world follows a property of direction. Direction, growth and fulfillment, and coming to the completion of itself and fruition of itself. You plant a seed, it'll sprout, become a young plant, a tree, produce fruits, and that's its purpose. Find me one thing that defies this particular rule or property of existence within the world that we live in, the world that we can explore, see with our sense perception. Nothing defies this principle. Same with our bodies, from a fetal stage to a baby, to an adult, to a grown person. Why should the human mind be any different? At every point we are evolving, don't you see this? On that note, I want to actually say something here, and then I want to leave it in your minds for it to germinate. And then at a later date when we meet, if Allah so wishes, I'll pick up on that again within a year. If the life of the 20th century or 21st century in the last, let's say 1,000 years, were to be archived, or things that we do were to be fossilized, let's say. It's a very crude example. And somebody in a distant future comes and finds all these things buried and they extract them. So they see a bicycle. Then they see another one. Then they see another one. Then they see another one. They will say, hold on. There is an evolutionary trend in the bicycles. First there was a big wheel, then it became smaller, then it became more sleek, then it became this shape, and so bicycles have evolved. That person who finds all these bicycles, they will conclude that evolution was happening. What they will not conclude possibly is that the evolution was not inside bicycles, but in the mind of the creator. It was the creator that was evolving and creating better models of bicycles to increase efficiency. Can you see that? So why should the mind not follow the same pattern of wanting to come to its own fruition? It needs directed. So we construct worldviews. And in that worldview, we begin to grow in a directed manner. So nothing defies this property. We have to have a world view. Of necessity, there has to be God to mark the pinnacle of our achievement and aspiration and where we are going. Now here is a question that I place to you. We are people who have a factory producing little babies. We produce a child and we color it brown. Another one white. Another one black. We see that the child as a child does not have any pigment of color. We are giving it color. That color does not belong to the child. It is us who have given that child color. Then we place one child in the lap of a Christian, another one in the lap of a Muslim, another one in the lap of a Hindu. Another one in the lap of a Buddhist, another one in the lap of an atheist, and so on and so forth. These children will be molded in those laps in accordance with the religion and persuasion of the lap that raises that child. One of them is in a warring culture. One of them is in poverty. One of them is in richness. They will all evolve differently. But in essence, the child was deprived of color, of culture, of socio-political circumstances, of economical statuses, and of religion. Yet, when that child evolves and the trajectory it takes, that child will have a very fixed notion of what the child is and what determines its direction of growth. But you and I, as the people who have produced and created that child, we know that neither the color, nor the gender, nor the culture, nor the social circumstances, nor the economical status, nor the religion, none of them were the defining principles for the child. Can you see that? None of them belong to the child. It's amazing, isn't it? But the child, as it grows up in that lab, within that ethnicity, within that culture, political system, will definitely find its identity bound by those factors. And through that will create its own direction. Allah is my direction, Bhagwan is my direction, science is my direction, so on and so forth. Those directions were formed within limited context. What was essential here was the formation of a notion. What was not essential was the factors through which the formation occurs. Think about this very carefully. Today we are here. Are we all of the Muslim persuasion? Are we all Muslims here? Do we call ourselves La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah? Now, if I were to tell you, if we were born in laps of Christians, majority of us would not be saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. We wouldn't be. If we were born in the laps of Buddhists, we wouldn't be subscribing to the Abrahamic God in the way that we know it. Yet, we will have constructed that direction for us through whatever our points of references were. It seems to me that at times, the essential feature which is wanting a direction is being shortchanged by the factors through which the direction is being formed. Can you see that? The evidence of that is that we are all sitting here trying to understand what is going on. If our direction was accurate, and if we had known what it's all about, why would any of us be sitting here 10 o'clock or 10:30 on Saturday evening to listen to a talk that doesn't make any sense to anyone anyway?
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense. You and I don't know what I'm saying. Can you see this? So why are we looking for anything else? Most of the time we listen to talks in order to satisfy ourselves of whatever we are doing is right. Because we are very insecure. We are extremely insecure. We are gripped by the unknown. There is no satisfaction. There is always skepticism within. There is always doubt within us. Think about our lives. Think about our lives. If somebody were to say something about my religion, I'll feel offended. All I have to do is to change my religion and then I won't feel offended. Think about it. So somebody burnt the Quran and somebody else said, let's burn the Bible. I said, no, print more Quran. Somebody drew the Prophet in an obscene manner. So the Muslims took to the street. I said, forgive them. That's what the Prophet would have done. Why are you getting so offended? Why are you getting so offended? This isn't your religion in the first place. If it is the religion of God, then God should strike them down with a bolt of fire. He is okay with it. Why are you offended? Surely something has gone wrong somewhere. And this is what we are addressing right now. Things don't make sense. This is a momentary comfort for us, a majlis, a lecture, whatever it is. It's just a way of comforting ourselves. Namaz, fasting, And every time I'm misinterpreted, you know that, right? After 100 years from now, they look at my lectures again, they'll understand it differently. I'm just kidding. It'll happen. Yeah. Grandchildren will say it. Ibn Arabi sat in a place and he said, your God is beneath my feet. Of course, they stoned him and they chased him away. And then somebody said, but this guy doesn't speak nonsense. So he dug beneath his feet and there was a treasure trove there. Yeah, I'm trying to say something else. In any case, look at our state right now. In search of meaning and wanting to be with God, we are genuine. How we are going about it needs to be examined. Now think about this carefully. It's my life. It's my only unique opportunity. How can anyone dictate to me what it is all about? It has to come from me uniquely. How I understand my religion is confined to me. Nobody can understand my God the way I understand my God. Nobody can understand my prophet the way I understand my prophet. We are mistaken in thinking we are following the same religion. Nobody follows the same religion. Nobody. Several siblings have the same mother, but none of them relate to that same mother in the same way. It's a unique relationship that each has with their mother. Before we go further into it, I want to ask you a question. We, the Muslims, have a direction towards God. What does that direction do for us? Okay, we pray namaz, don't we? We fast, we go around the house of God 7 times. But what does that do? That's all connected with the body. Yeah? Where are those namazes that we've prayed all our lives? Where are they? They've gone. They're retained in some memory somewhere of the universe, right? But other than that, where are they? They've gone. It's like the food we eat, we consume, and then we get rid of it. We are still here, the food has come, has gone. Those fasts, where are they? They have no value. These are all bodily things. Yes? What is of value is what we become through them. That is of real value. Nothing remains but I. I am the salient principle within, accompanying this body, who has prayed and fasted and whatever. Fasts have gone, prayers have gone, I have remained. My body is going by the day. I am still here. I am the permanent feature. So the impact that should be on me. Now what could that impact be? What was desired, objective through all of that I become a better human, right? That's the desired objective. I become a better human. What does that mean? Become complete person. Okay, what does that mean? Speak the truth, don't lie. Okay, that seems to be something that constitutes a better person. Be sacrificing. Yeah. Feed others, share. Yeah. Feel for others. Yes. Be merciful. Be forgiving. Let go. Good. Yes. These are the things that constitute goodness from within. What else? Attach yourself to God. Be humble before God. Let God enlighten you. So if that is the real thing that's happening, tell me, does the Hindu tell you that cheating is good? Killing is good? Lying is good? Letting others die is good? So, but hold on. You seem to think he is so different from you. But he is saying the same things you are saying. At that moral level. He's saying, I say all the things that you are saying. But you worship Bhagwan. Yes, but he says the same thing that your Allah is saying to you. I say, what is different then? Well, you go around some black house and I go to some mandir. Right, so the difference is in the bodily aspect, not in the human aspect. So what about your God? Well, my God is one who comforts me when I need him, encourages me to do good, says to me, leave it upon me and I will take care of the affairs. Tells me, trust in me, but my God says the same thing to me. Why are we different? But actually we are not different. We are one and the same. Where we are mistaken is that I have constructed my God in the framework in which I took birth. And you have constructed your God in the framework in which you took birth. But essentially the same God shines through. Isn't that amazing? So there was no difference between one and another. Between black and white. Rich and poor. Muslim and non-Muslim. So why are we all fighting? Why are we killing ourselves? It's amazing. I say my God is one. And then I say, but no, Islam is the right religion. That means therefore there are more than one gods. There's more than one God. So at the first level we begin to see this, that the meaning is there inherent within all of us. And it is same across the board. There are no two people who are different. They are all the same. All are children of God. At this point I would like to say this. If God is so blinded in His love for His creatures, then that God has to be beyond whatever we can imagine Him to be. If a mother in whose soul God imparts a ray of His mercy is blinded in the love of her children, that she looks beyond colors and features, then God, the parent of all parents, can know no discrimination. Call Him Bhagwan, call Him Allah, call Him Rabb, whatever you call Him, He is the one that we are all after. That's the first thing we need to get out of our heads. All this discrimination that we get. These are the limitations of our contexts. Now we work into it further. I ask Allah, what purpose can you possibly envisage from me and my life on the face of this earth? We worship you, but if you are God, you are complete, you don't require worship. Why would you want to create us to worship you anyway? Can you see that? God is absolutely phenomenally beautiful. I'll throw in that story at this point here that I recited a few weeks ago, and you heard it. There was a Sufi who became very, very famous, unduly famous. People from all corners of the world would flock to be in his presence. He was a man, obviously. I'm a man too. You can see the discrimination. Yeah? I'm saying there was a Sufi, he has to be a man, right? Anyway, people flock to him from all corners of the world. We are genderless in essence. Huh? Don't worry about it. So he would just bless them and they would go away happy and whatnot. So one day God looked at him and he said, right, he's getting a bit too big for his own good. So he inspired that Sufi. He said, you've become very famous. He said, yes, Lord. He said, people come from all over the world and venerate you. He said, yes, by your grace they do. God said, but you do know you're not all that they think you are. He said, yes, I know that. He said, you know I know that as well. He said, yes. He said, but you know that if I were to tell them what I know of you, that they don't know of you, instead of venerating you, they will swear at you. He said, yes, I know that very well. So God said, well, what if I tell them? So this man paused. He said, God, you do know that I recognize you more than others do. He said, yes. He said, you know that I know the extent of your mercy and the blindness of your love towards your creatures. He said, yes. He said, you do know that I know that if everyone were to deny your existence and sin helplessly, you will forgive them all. He said, yes. He said, Lord, what if I were to tell them about the blindness of your mercy? God said, in that case, we have a pact. Neither shall I conceal your faults to them, nor shall you talk about my nature to them. Think about God. How God is. That is where we belong. This is what is in there, waiting to be discovered. The amazing thing is that that which is there waits to be revealed from here. It's amazing. The beauty unending is here. Did he not say to the angels, وَإِذَا نَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ? When I breathe into him of my spirit, fall prostrated before him. What is in the statue of Adam? Nothing. It's the breath of the merciful. It's the spirit therein that brings the angels upon their faces. When the son of Adam said to Gabriel, lead the prayer of my father, Gabriel said, we prostrated to your father. You lead his prayers. We are prostrated to you. Yes, he said salawat and come forward. But I want to take this a bit further. So persevere. Now here we are. People who are very, very frightened. We are really frightened. We are in the grips of insecurity. We fear poverty, don't we? But tell that grown man, when you were in the womb of your mother, who constructed you? Who made you what you became? Tell that man who's afraid of poverty, you're afraid of your money and wealth dwindling. Have you ever thought who brings the sun out every morning? Have you ever thought who has made the air available for you to breathe? Have you ever thought who brings the streams of water and river that flow beneath your feet? You're afraid that your millions will diminish, but you're mindless that if the breath of air were to be taken away from you, your billions cannot get one back. How futile is your worry? Come in. How futile is your worry? Think about this carefully. You're afraid for your health. Even if you were to get your health back, the great sun that gloriously shines in the middle of the sky will one day have to die. Shall you be spared? And why do you want health anyway? If he has kept the path for you in sickness, then embrace that sickness and fight it. Didn't the blessed Prophet say that mistake through which humility is brought about towards God is better than that good deed in which there is conceit and distance from God? Think about life very, very carefully. It is absurd for a person who subscribes to God to then worry because he's saying to God, I don't think you're fit enough to be God. You are my God, I trust in you. Well, why am I sick? Well, you trust in me, don't you? You trust in me, do you know better than I do? Then that means you don't found me. Why am I poor? But you said you trust in me. But I have so many admirers. I'm in the opposite. Well, why you said you trust in me? Why don't you trust in me? Think about this carefully. But let's go a level beyond it. Let's go beyond that as well. Why don't we admit to ourselves? It's our journey, isn't it? It is our journey. We don't know when it's going to end, right? We don't. It's our journey. We don't know when it's going to end, right? What prevents us from becoming truthful to ourselves? The Blessed Prophet said, "An-nasu niyamin matu intabahu." People are asleep. When they die, they awaken. They see the futility of it all. They see the futility of it all. But it's only available after they die. That's when they awaken. It was a dream world. How amazing is a story that one lost to his own self is after finding God. You're not even present to your own self. How will you find anything else? Think about this. One lost to his own self is trying to find another. One who is asleep is trying to own the world. You will wake up in a minute and you will see you can't own anything. Even your body is withering away. What will you? Even your mind is losing its senses and your memory is fading away. What will you own? It's futile. But let's go beyond this all. Let's be true and honest to God and say to God that I really don't know who you are. I don't know who I am, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what the journey is all about. Be honest. And that's the truth. You know this? This is the truth. For a person to say, I am a Muslim, should examine the whole statement, I am. Are you, and who are you? Are you your color? No. Are you your gender? No. Are you your religion? No. Who are you? It's a futile statement. I am a Muslim. I'm going towards God. And the worst situation is of a Muslim and a Christian who are trying to work for paradise. How futile are these people's minds? I'm talking about me. How futile are their minds that they worship God for the sake of paradise. It's like a fool saying to the mother, oh mother, I'm coming to you so that you may give me gifts. And the mother is saying, is my presence not beyond any gift for you? I would sacrifice everything just to be with you. And you're spending time with me for me to bestow upon you? Is that how you devalue my love and my presence? I've given this example on many occasions as inshallah we advance into this talk. If Qais, the great lover of Layla, were to find Layla sitting upon a throne and Layla were to ask Qais, ask what you will, Qais would be a fool to ask for any gifts from Layla. If Qais were to say to Layla, give me a palace, Layla would actually cry at the loss of Qais. You're asking me for a palace? If you had asked me for my crown, I would have given it to you. Take the crown, it's all yours. But why should Qais ask Layla for her crown? He would say, Layla, I just want you. You are my lost treasure. That's all I want. If I have you, I don't lack anything. And if I do not have you, then what do I have? As Imam Hussein said. We need to be honest, and we need to turn to God and say to God, I really don't know what is happening. The first thing that needs to go on the journey is the assumption that I know. And the arrogance that this assumption is right. I have to say to God, God, I really don't trust you because I really don't know you and I don't even know if you exist. That's the truth. Because if I really knew you existed and I've been praying to you all this while, then why am I afraid of death? Does it make sense? Somebody is traveling from a distant land somewhere else to meet their mother and beloved. Why would they be afraid? They would be eager to go there. But the devotee of God is afraid of going to God. That doesn't make any sense. I'm praying to you 5 times a day, but I'm afraid of coming to you. What? Isn't that nonsensical? Some people, when they're dying, they're so afraid that they're not. People who are dying are very much at ease, but the thought of death doesn't sit well. It just doesn't sit well. Pray for me. But why should I pray for you? You're going to the one who is going to receive you. When you go to the most benevolent of people, you don't need my prayer. His benevolence. He's not going to let you down. It's like somebody saying, okay, I'm going to this very generous person, pray that he gives me. Are you fool? You need me to pray for that very generous person to give you something? You're going to the one who gives everybody everything. You don't need prayers, just go to him. But the fact that I ask prayers for a prayer that God forgives me, have you been worshipping God at all? Do you even know God? The foolish Muslim is afraid of asking God questions about the one about whom questions ought to be asked. The Muslim says, don't ask questions of God. He is sacred. He is the only one about whom we should be asking questions. Oh Lord, you are my return. You are my beginning. I need to know you. I really don't care less about anything else. And if you are my God, then you will not shy away from my inquiry. It is your creature who wants to know you and recognize you. Surely you will take joy in that. To admit to ourselves, God, you don't make sense to me because I've conjured up a God in my head and that is not you. If I was with you, fear would not grip me. Insecurity would leave me. I would not be discriminating like this. I would not be capable of swearing at people and cursing at people. But the foolish Muslim cannot tolerate difference of opinion when his God himself says, I've made you all very different so that you might find different paths towards me. But God, I'm better God than you are. Isn't that the statement we're making? I often say to the Shia community, and obviously they really get angry at me, and you all know this by now. So I always say to them, I said, if God were to forgive Yazid, Imam Hussein will not have a problem with it. But the Shias will have a problem with it. If God were to forgive Yazid, Imam Hussein will say, you are the one who forgives whoever you want. Allah says, nobody will ask me, I forgive whoever I want. But the Shia will not forgive God for forgiving Yazid. And then I would always qualify, God will never forgive Yazid, so get that out of your mind. Because I know they will never forgive me after that. Just imagine, this journey towards God has to be a very genuine journey. The God that we pray to is the God of the bodies. The God of the heart has yet to be acquainted with. He is the one that is being acquainted here, there. And that place knows no color, knows no status, knows no religion, knows no formality. There is no formality in this place here. God, I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Be free. Be free. He wants you to scream. He wants you to shout. He wants you to get it out. Let it out. He's not afraid. These are his ways of inviting us to him. So the real want of God and finding God is to first acknowledge that we are on a journey of discovery. Then we come to an understanding that we have to be very authentic and genuine. And then we approach God. But you will find that whatever we look for outside, it is in here. We have tarnished God because we haven't received him from God. If you were to understand the beauty that is within, there is no heavens or earth or paradise that can compare against it. How foolish is this, that the King of all kings yearns paradise when he can create paradise at will. What God has created here is so profound that paradise can never be a worthy reward for the creation of God. He has the Spirit of God in him. How foolish is this man? It's like a person who is the owner of the whole world seeking a little house as a favor from somebody else. Do you know who you are? You are the owner of the whole of this world. Why do you have to beg for a house? You're not aware of what you are. If only you knew. Paradise and hell are for children. Also, paradise is better than hell. Obviously, it's better than roasting in there. But they are not for the true ones. Even after people go into their paradise, they'll be happy there. But they will not be people who have awoken. That's why God tries to prod them. Even inside paradise, وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ, and we have more to offer. These are not gifts. Look, this is going to be the topic next Muharram in oil, if Allah gives life and the opportunity, finding God. That the promised paradise that God has promised in the Quran, we are creating it here. We have created that paradise and we will create it. The thing that Allah says in the Quran that everything will be written and monitored, we are doing that right now with the Big Brother. Every moment, every movement is being watched. Soon we will come upon technology that will monitor thought and intentions. So we will be like open books. After we arrive at that point, when we have created paradise, when everything is open, that is when the true opportunity of finding God will come. Now find God beyond paradise. That is where we need to be. So now, how do we now relate to God? To first, as I said, become genuine. And then say to God, Allah, you know what is inside there. As Hussein says, how may I express to you of what is going on within me when you observe it before I even utter it? Oh Lord, you witness what is in there. I surrender to you. Oh Lord, you see the deceivable state within me. You see the despair that I have. Yet you see my yearning to you and my hope with you. Oh Lord, be sufficient for me. Oh Lord, when I examine myself, I cannot face myself. Oh Lord, be that strength and encouragement for me, that I can accept myself once again. Oh Lord, I have fallen and you know that. Extend your hand and allow me to stand once again. Oh Lord, I am afraid. I will not hide it from you. Oh Lord, I am doubting in you. How can I hide it from you? Oh Lord, even though I know that you know what is better for me, yet this heart finds no ease in that knowledge. Comfort me and grant me the satisfaction to rely upon you, to open up to God at that intimate level. To say, oh Lord, I really don't know what is going on, but let me trust you. Take me by the hand. Lead me through this journey. Hussein says something phenomenal. Oh Allah, allow me not to seek the hastening of a decree that you have chosen to postpone and delay. And allow me not to yearn the postponement of a decree that you have chosen to hasten. Do we not say to Allah, dispel death, let it not come now? Hussein is saying, bring me to a stage where I do not say to you, oh Allah, postpone a decree that you have chosen to hasten. Don't we say this? This is the level at which we need to open up to God. Oh Allah, if you're going to take me now, then allow me to be prepared to embrace you. Allow me not to resist your call. Allow me not to spend a moment in isolation of you, or a breath that is deprived of you. Lead me. I'll tell you this much. Humanity belongs at the godly pedestal, where there is no color distinction, status, ethnic, or religion, or gender. That's where humanity needs to belong, as one family of God. Now, Arif said something wonderful, and I'm going to finish with that now, and that is that godliness is through service of humanity. We have a hadith in which God says on the day of Qiyamah, I was hungry, I made you a custodian of my wealth, and I asked you to give it to my family, but you did not. Those hungry stomachs were my family. What excess wealth you had was for them. I was naked, you clothed me not. I was without a shelter, you did not put a roof over my head. I was traumatized, you did not assist me. The best way to bring about godliness is to become God-like. God shares and gives bounties. And the destiny of humanity is that actually. As animals, we want to hoard and eat, then we find that that doesn't give any pleasure. So then we start giving because that gives pleasure. Have you not seen that? Now women no longer want designer bags. That stage is ended. So if you like designer bags, it's finished now. That's the end of it. Come forward. Okay. Women no longer like designer clothes or expensive makeup.
Because men have started liking those. Sight examples of men, it's the same.
Because men don't like women anymore. Men like the higher pleasures now. Men like philosophical inquiries now.
That's exogenous.
Do you know why I say women? Because I always say man. No, I always say man like this, man like that. Women say, well, give us equality. I've been saying he is the spirit of God, so now I'm just something about she as well. So I'm just trying to make it even. There's no satisfying people. Men no longer like designer bags. Now how does that sound? Men no longer like lipsticks. Men no longer like lipsticks. How does that sound? People no longer like that.
Yes. Got it.
We are no longer into designer stuff. I'm trying to give a hint. We are no longer. It's finished now. That phase is gone. We instead find pleasure in giving now. Can't you see how we are naturally evolving? We would much rather take pleasure in the pangs of hunger, knowing that we feel the stomachs of others. Can you see how naturally we're becoming godly? The real pleasure of all pleasure actually is in God. It truly is. It's priceless, that pleasure. When you see a child and you care for that child, that pleasure cannot be equal to any other pleasure. So one of the ways to find this beautiful path towards God is to become God-like, but that only comes when we immerse in God. I'm going to leave us with that thought, and Nazin bhai, thank you for imparting that thought to me. God bless you. I'm going to end there if anybody wants to discuss anything. Sorry.